Chapter Heat Part 3. This part of video is based on the topic transfer of heat and the three modes of transfer of heat: conduction, convection and radiation. Transfer of heat. Heat energy is transferred from an area of high temperature to an area of low temperature. Heat energy is always transferred from the hotter area or object to the colder area. And the transfer of heat can only occur if there is a temperature difference between the two locations. For example, if we dip a steel spoon in a cup of hot tea, we find that the temperature of spoon rises and it becomes hot. Some of the heat contained in hot tea has been transferred to spoon which is placed in it. Heat moves from hot tea to the cold spoon. So heat flows from a hot object to a cold object. The flow of heat or the transfer of heat stops when the two objects attain the same temperature. Heat can be transferred from a hot object to a cold object in three different ways: by conduction, by convection, and by radiation. First, we can discuss about conduction. If we heat one end of a metal spoon by keeping it over a gas burner, we find that its other end also becomes hot after a while. Heat is transferred from the hot end of the metal spoon to its cold end. So, what is conduction? It is the process by which heat is transferred from the hot part of the material to its colder part without the movement of material as a whole is called conduction. In conduction, transfer of heat through direct contact. It occurs any time when objects at different temperatures are touching each other. As long as the objects are in contact, transfer of heat will continue until the temperature of the objects is the same. We can discuss another example for conduction. When one end of an iron rod is put over flame, then part which is nearer to the flame is heated first, and heat is gradually transferred to the other end of the rod. This happens because particles of iron rod which are nearer to the flame receives the heat and transfer this to the adjacent particles. Subsequently, the adjacent particles transfers the heat to the next adjacent particles. This process continues and heat reaches to the other end of the rod. Thus, heat transfer in solids takes place through conduction. Conductors. Material which allow heat to pass through it are called conductor or good conductors of heat, such as iron, copper, aluminium, etc. All metals are good conductors of heat, since mercury is a metal and found in liquid state at room temperature. That is why it is used in thermometers. Since metals are good conductors of heat, that's why kitchen utensils are made of metals or alloys of metals. Insulators. Materials which do not allow heat to pass through them are called bad conductors or poor conductor of heat. They are also called as insulators. Example of insulators are rubber, wood, plastic, etc. This is the cause that handles of frying pan or other kitchen utensils are made of plastic. Convection. Convection is the process by which heat is transferred in liquids and gases from the hotter part to the colder part. Water and air are bad conductors of heat, but they do become hot in spite of being bad conductors. Heat transfer in fluids takes place through convection. Convection in liquids. On heating the water, the part of it near the flame gets heated up and expands, due to which it becomes less dense and consequently rises up. This creates a vacuum and the cold water from the sides slides down to occupy the space near the flame. This water also gets heated up and rises. Again, the cold water slides down. So, it is like a cycle that continues again and again until and unless the entire water is heated up. This process continues unless the whole water present in the beaker gets heated up. The cyclical movement in fluids because of heating is called convection current. Convection in air. Air gets heated because of convection, the way water gets heated. Air near the source of heat gets heated and rises above. This leaves a gap which is filled by the colder air from the surrounding. The convection current thus starts in air, which results in heating up of air. For example, when you place your palm above a flame, you will feel the hotness of the flame. But when you will place your palm below the flame, the area will be colder. This shows how the colder air from below moves up due to convection current. Radiation. Radiation is the transfer of heat energy from a hot body to a cold body by means of heat rays without any material medium between them. Example of radiation is the transfer of heat energy of the sun to the earth. Radiation. All hot bodies emit heat by the process of radiation. Radiation of heat does not require a medium. Sunlight comes to the earth because of radiation, as there is no medium present between the atmosphere of the earth and the sun. One can feel the heat of bonfire by standing around it. We get warmth from the room heater because of radiation.